Episode 29, Symphony in the Storm.
When the world begins to forget art, an ancient mission will wake up again. Welcome to the Sky Mender's Fragments of Artistic Space. Ancient Eastern China more than 8,000 years ago, the cosmic dome cracks, the abyss of nothingness swallows everything. In despair, Empress Nuwa blooms with high-dimensional divine light. The hand rest condenses the original emotions of the universe. 5 colored stones soar up. When the colorful stones touch the cracks, turn into a bright stream of light. The abyss closes. She spread the fire she created into the world. Leave hope and warmth to the world. After a long time flies to a highly automated future. Humanity is gradually losing its connection with art. Numb collective subconscious, breeding the name Zero Domain. The absolute power of reason. Gray and white cracks tear apart the time and space of the art universe. The sky that had been repaired collapsed again. Countless artistic essences were reduced to fragments, scattered in every corner of the long river of time. In the cold, dead city, a high-dimensional light quietly lit up. Iona appears with the echo of Nuwa's compassion, holding in hand space-time bricks that can collect broken time and space. She looks up to the broken spiritual universe, said softly. Only by retrieving the scattered art and life touch, only then can we reassemble the lost truth, goodness and beauty. Gray data covers the streets of Taipei in the future. Taipei 101 in the rain is hidden in the cold light and shadow. Young Liu is just the most ordinary person in the city. When Iona handed the space-time building blocks into his hands, the long-dormant artistic memory suddenly flooded into my heart. The long-lost sense of life awakens again. This time, we must mend the sky ourselves. Liu holds the blocks tightly. Embark on a journey to mend the sky spanning thousands of years of artistic civilization.
In the towering virtual work cabin of New Taipei, Liu is calmly sorting out the data of Zero Domain. Dense rain outside the window washes the glass. However, he suddenly realized, a serious reality change is spreading rapidly. Human beings are beginning to lose their ability to empathize with emotions. The ups and downs of music's joy and sorrow gradually return to deathly silence. Liu picked up the warm bionic teacup. But he found that his handwritten music score on the case was being swallowed up and wiped out by the geometric code of the Zero Domain. This cold formatting noise is modifying the parameters of his brain, trying to completely erase the human sense of beauty of chord resonance from its ideological roots. Let the emotion die. Liu looked confused, hands holding messy dark hair. Starlight twinkles in the darkness of the hair. It shows Chibi's comic expression of extreme anxiety and confusion. He found that he couldn't even feel emotions when listening to a symphony. This made him feel very impatient. Auxiliary AI of emotionless voice sounded in the cabin. It has been detected that the global emotional resonance index has dropped 99.9%. Liu looked out the window. The suspended train on the elevated track freezes instantly in midair. The holographic signboard outside Dihua Street turned into black and white pixel noise. Liu leaned against the titanium doorframe, facing the high-frequency flashing white light screen in pain. He clearly felt that his heartbeat was synchronized with the high-frequency noise. Zero Domain attempts to integrate the entire human emotional experience, formatted like machine output, in Organic City. At this time, the space-time building blocks on the workbench suddenly floated in midair. The information resonance and emotional filter mechanism starts automatically. Spray out countless high-dimensional stardust particles that emit a warm and slow silvery white light. Iona's hazy figure gradually appeared in the particles. Silver hair is scattered with orange-red warm light. Iona's eyes are detached, focusing on calling in his mind. The breath of the soul is dying. Liu, let's look for the reverberation of Beethoven's spirit. Liu took a deep breath, instantly swallowed by strong light. After traveling through time and space, Liu fell heavily next to the stone table of the 18th century bell tower workshop. In the storm, towering Gothic pointed arches and gears stand in the night sky. The air is filled with flying iron filings and dust and the pungent smell of burning oil and burned smoke. Inside the bell tower, the huge gears and stone tables are being blocked by the geometric barrier of the Zero Domain. Originally painted Symphony of Destiny, the staff shows a formatted gray color, lost the original note shades and melody charm. Close-up of brass movement on workshop table, the original hand-forged gears and hammer swing system have shriveled and hardened. Turned into a temperatureless gray-white lump, there is no ticking sound in the atmosphere. All that's left is the crazy low-pitched high-frequency formatting noise. In the workshop, the musicians and craftsmen turned into gray and white film silhouettes, standing stiffly. The facial expression remains the same, numb and empty. They forget why they need to create and feel. The phenomenon of emotional congruence spreads like crazy here. The unfinished Symphony of Destiny floated in front of Liu. After images of gears and music scores, the white surface is scattered with chord symbols. Under the guidance of Iona's fluorescent particles, the reverberation of the clockmaker's soul exudes a faint spiritual call. Extreme close-up of hands, Liu held the rough brass gear in his hands, a real warm touch on my fingertips, the gears glow with a faint warm golden light when touched, blue light flashes in the depths of his gray pupils, experience manually adjusting the temperature of my. Liu stood on a tall wooden scaffolding, using gears and adjusting tools, the weight and movement were painstakingly assembled on the clock tower. His face was covered with sweat and dust, Chibi's face is exposed and she is extremely focused and funny when writing. Expression, looks funny yet extremely serious. Divided comic layout, the left panel shows Liu's profile with concentration on adjusting the movement with both hands, right panel shows Liu using brass gears with hands laying steel on the clock frame by hand, there are red marks on the palms, every seam is real. When the last brass gear is fixed on the edge of the movement, the still dry bell chimed crisply, circles of light red energy ripples in the atmosphere, this ripple spreads around with the warmth of the touch, collision with the translucent geometric codes of the surrounding zero domain, stirring up ripple-like interference and distortion in the water, to tear apart the emotionless order in the space. Liu pressed his hands tightly on the warm stone table, feel the real flow of notes from your fingertips to your heart. Frame comics, Liu stepped into a building completely intertwined with ancient trees and gears. Towering majestic bell tower hall, in the center of the hall, there stands a statue made of countless handmade gears and a giant mask made of stacked sheets of music. Liu looked up, I saw a craftsman emerging in midair, his hands covered in metal dust. The overlapping afterimages of the frantic carvings on the stone wall, the ancient sad chorus echoes over and over again in the air. This sacred image unleashes an overwhelming emotional impact, hitting the depths of Liu's soul. He felt an unprecedented shock. A detailed comic strip features the details of Symphony of Destiny. The left panel displays the smooth jade-like lines of the musical score. German and Austrian music is exquisite under the firelight. The right panel displays a sculptural contrast between light and dark, showing the blend of chord lines and brass movement, showing the ultimate craftsmanship born of eternity and order. It is completely impossible to simulate with AI code and inorganic algorithms. The ultimate in human realistic art. Liu looked at these densely packed gears and music scores. Deep in my heart, I was deeply moved by this extreme patience and persistence against forgetfulness. The black and gray geometric chains of zero domain tightly wrap around the giant mask, gray noise in the atmosphere increases dramatically, quickly smooth out the blue and white totems around it, the surface of the stone wall turned into dead gray pixel particles due to desaturation erosion. The unknown craftsman's spirit lingered half-kneeling in front of the collapsed bookshelf, the music Mender-α at his feet was blown away by the wind, his hands that smelled of cold ink were turning into sand little by little, he let out an extremely painful roar, sighing in despair. In the face of cold rationality, all emotions and adventures are unnecessary noise. Frame comics, looking at the gray noise peeling off the edge of the stage, Liu's mind flashed through those people in New Taipei who looked numb and, no memory, pedestrian faces without resonance. He knew clearly, if this gentle touch of adventure and art is allowed to be completely erased by zero domain, the future world will be completely reduced to a cold and ruthless precision machine. Liu held the brass gear tightly with both hands. The nebulae flow in his pupils, his signature spacetime blue fluorescent light burst out from the darkness of his hair, deep in his body, all the emotional power is suppressed by reason. This moment was completely ignited. Because we lived. Liu let out a deafening roar, he hit the gears hard on the giant clock face, the heavy impact exploded on the ground like spring thunder, the entire banquet hall trembled violently, a materialized red color, dark blue and golden energy ripples spread crazily outward from the wall in a circular shape. Shatter the zero-domain geometric chains and de-emotional codes blocking the front. Frame comics, Liu has quick hands and quick eyes, the hands continued to assemble the brass gears on the ancient movement frantically and rhythmically. The continuous lines pulsate violently in the space like the pulse of time of civilization. The reverberation of the unknown craftsman's spirit waved his hands in laughter, waiting for assembly on the crumbling stone wall, that bright touch of golden gears and, the golden light spread quickly under the dazzling firelight, perfectly synchronized with Liu's fanatical assembly, together we compose a life movement against forgetfulness. The giant mask once again erupted into a dazzling cyan blue light, the sleeping figures of literati murals and fonts on the walls seemed to come alive. They danced a primitive writing dance around the dome and the dancing firelight. The entire palace became unstoppable at this moment of red memories and, emotional torrent, wash away all the gray and de-emotional codes in zero domain, the rolling blue particles are like boiling blood, galloping and roaring in space, announces the awakening of the most primitive time rhythm of this civilization. At the last moment, building blocks absorb energy, transformed into a spacetime compass, breathe this score and the memory of the clock tower into your core, take away Liu. Liu woke up in the work cabin, the originally cold gray lines on the screen now have a slight hint of warm blue. The gray pixels on the fingertips have completely receded. On the workbench, the ancient sheet of music lies quietly in the center, the mottled paper has historical wear and tear, but the writing on it is vigorous and powerful, extremely crisp, the rhythm of life, moving steadily. Liu pressed the music score to his chest, his eyes were slightly filled with tears, he raised the corners of his mouth slightly, he understands, music, it is an invisible building, without emotion and temperature, the human soul will be barren. The spacetime building blocks rotate again, blurred bell tower lines are projected in midair, Liu clasped his hands together, staring at the building blocks with vigilant eyes. Liu quietly looked at the restored world. He understood for the first time, music, it's an invisible building, this adventure has come to an end. At this time, the space-time building blocks rotate again, extremely unstable flickering and crashing noises emitted from inside, and projected the incomplete writing of reflection of the clock of time, warning of the next crisis. Global Sky Menders, in the hustle and bustle of life, which song is your soul's refuge? A. Lyric and tender slow songs. B. Passionate rock and roll. C. Quiet and pure music. D. Play randomly as you wish. Your answer, it will resonate with the emotions of countless Sky Menders, stay in our memory bank. Global Sky Menders mission, this mission, please leave a message to share your thoughts, which song can make your soul feel alive again? Every love, they are all a flame of art, time and space. If you also hope that these civilizations will not be forgotten, please light up the love, follow and share with friends around you. Let more Sky Menders participate in the task of repairing the next piece of art, space-time fragments, but to let future generations know, the beating notes build a soul refuge in nothingness that will never collapse.